communications consultants at EVCC. Okay, that's going to be really difficult, but okay.
It's okay.
They're all unmuted.
Hello, Mary's Getchell. I'll be your host, Maurice, and this is going to be Yuzba. And today we have Kimberly Crombie. She's an alumni from MPHS and is now a communications consultant at EVCC. So let's start it off. When did you graduate from MPHS?
2004.
Dang, that's really
It's
recent.
a long time ago.
That's kind of a long time ago. So, as a student before the SLC system, did you have any thoughts on the split into SLCs for Getchell?
I think that there are definitely benefits. I think that it will help serve a lot of the student population very well because you get more targeted, specialized learning, which helps individuals thrive. And I think for other individuals it might have been a little bit of a challenge, but I think there are definitely benefits.
Oh, okay.
That's good. So what are some things that the TV3 taught you that helped you in the real world?
We had this motto, if it is to be, it is up to me. And I think that is just how I live my life. I don't ever remember a time after doing TV3 that I wasn't driven and motivated and focused, sometimes overly focused on a big picture goal. And I absolutely love that TV3 taught me to take responsibility for my actions and for my communications with others, and certainly the communication with the business community as well. I made so many contacts as a student in high school, just being an executive producer, and they are contacts that I still have today, people that I still talk to on a somewhat regular basis, and it was just a special time in high school, and I was really glad I got to be involved.
Is that the thing that you miss most about high school, your TV3 class?
Yeah, probably. I loved high school. I loved every part of it. I loved playing sports and being involved with ASB and anything else I could be involved with, but TV3 was definitely my home base.
So it was like your most favorite class throughout like your whole high school career. It was like your bread and butter.
Yes, certainly.
Let's see. So as a communications consultant at EVCC, like what exactly do you do for students and stuff?
It's a very long title, and I do a lot of different things. So one of the main things that I do is I'm a web content editor for administrative services.
Okay.
And that department is actually 3 smaller departments, budget and accounting, human resources, and logistics operations. So anything that they put on their web pages on the public site or on our intranet, which is only accessible by employees, I'm responsible for editing all the content, making sure everything looks clean before we publish it. It's a lot of updating, it's a lot of daily maintenance, but that's the main part of my job. Some other little things that I do are I help in HR, mostly because that's where my physical office is located. And I do a lot of photography for the campus, which is fun because it's one of my hobbies. And I am still able to volunteer for special projects or events on campus, which is great.
Okay.
That's nice. So how does your average day look like?
I don't know that there is an average day, but that's a good thing. I like to be challenged and busy, and I think it looks different every day because I do so many different things. But generally what it would look like is I get to work sometime between 7 and 9, depending on what my needs are, you know, whether I have meetings early or not. And I'll probably just walk in, turn on my computer, check my email, and that's usually where my task list comes from, is mainly through email from my superiors, my coworkers, and seeing what needs to be done. And then I just kind of head first right towards the day and tackle whatever needs to be done first, and I move on from there. Some of my projects are more long-term. Some of them take months or even years to come to fruition, which is tough. Yeah, it's tough, but it's a good thing because I'm working with coworkers and also the community, of course. It's, you know, the college's middle name. So it's nice, though, to see a longer-term project come to fruition like that. So, yeah.
So you talk about these projects that take a really long time. So what are they?
It could be anything. Some of it could be photography. Some of it could be a project where I'm doing some form of written content for a department. They're eventually looking to revamp their web pages. And of course that would be in admin services, like I mentioned. Sometimes that content writing and editing process takes a really long time. At times I've worked with up to 6 or 7 people that don't work the same work schedule, and so we all have to be flexible and work together to see my product, review, revise, draft a new one, see how it looks. There are also projects that are published that might be updated on a regular basis. Some of those things are like professional development for our college, which I'm a co-administrator for that. So all of the learning that our faculty and staff do, that is a program that I manage with one of my coworkers. And it's a lot of updating, like I said. But those projects are ongoing and they may never end, which I've learned to adjust to. But it's always rewarding, always.
So what are like some of your struggles that you face with your work?
I would say sometimes it's hard to rely on other people in order to complete something that I need to do, but it's certainly taught me a lot about teamwork, even more than I thought I had already learned. And definitely sometimes it's a struggle to just communicate with people. There are so many different communication styles. You know, for as many people as there are in the world, there are that many ways to communicate, and everyone has a different preference. And so I'd say probably when I was a newer employee a few years back, it was really difficult to know how to communicate with people and understand how they like to articulate themselves and communicate with me, because I didn't know anyone. Now I know pretty much everyone on campus, but there are so many employees. I mean, there are literally like 1,000 employees. So yeah, so you can't possibly know everyone, but being in HR, I see nearly everybody at least once or twice. And like I said, most of my communications are digital, but some of them are face-to-face too. It's a good balance. It's still a struggle though. Sometimes even the people that I know really well, it's difficult to communicate together for a common goal if we're misunderstanding each other. So the same type of thing that happened in high school, that happened in college, same exact struggles.
So you talked about like balancing like schedules with each other, right?
Yeah.
So were there some days where you were just by yourself working on the project, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I had to get used to that. I work very well independently, but I also work very well with teams of people. And one of the things that I did have to adjust to was sometimes I was going to be the Lone Ranger working on a project that we had been working on for, maybe a day, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months. And that meant that I wasn't always going to have someone there for adjudication to tell me if I was headed in the right direction, or if they even liked what I was doing, and I don't like uncertainty. So it's tough to be in those situations, but it also challenges and stretches you. So I really appreciate them, actually.
That's good. So how long have you been working for ABCC again?
About 3 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
So from those 3 years, like, so you've met mainly, or know mainly, like, all those thousands of employees. How about, like, students? Like, have you ever had face-to-face contact with, like, students and stuff and actually made a bond with them?
Sure,
Or-
that's a great question. You know, I think being in admin services and not being in the student services side, I see far fewer students, but I also see some. And I've made a few connections with a couple of them, but because I don't deal with students as part of my actual profession, which is weird because I actually work at the college for students,
Yeah.
it's just limited interaction, so it's a different kind of interaction, but it's special. And it's nice to see students and get to talk to them and know them a little bit. I also have friends that attend the college, and every once in a while, if I know they're on campus, I'll say, hey, come stop by my office, come see me. And it's great because I get to catch up with them and see how their classes are going and almost get regrounded with the whole main purpose of why I'm there. Because everything we do is for the students in the community, but that also means I have to get to know a lot of the staff and the faculty and help them with whatever they need. And also working in HR, there's a lot of confidentiality, and so sometimes I might see someone and I can't say that I saw them, even if I'm asked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah.
So have you ever wanted to, like, restart anything from your, like, high school career or your like working as a communications consultant at EVCC? Have you ever wanted to restart something?
You mean like go back to it?
Yeah, like go back to it. Like, let's rewind this so then I can make that better.
Oh yeah. Well, I think there are definitely times that I have been working on either a project or been working with people that I thought later, oh man, I really should have done this, or I wish I had done that. And you know, hindsight is 20/20. So you're always going to look back on your experiences, and you should be able to learn from them. I'm a firm believer that if you don't learn something the first time, you're going to have to learn it again, and the next time it's going to be more difficult. So it is a refining process. I've always wanted to come back here just to come back here, but I've never wanted to redo anything because I took so much away from it.
Okay, well, we actually have a segment called Do Over, and yeah, so we'll be right back, Marysville, with Kimmi Crombie.
Hey, Randy. So I was walking to school this morning, and this guy on the sidewalk, he offers me this, right? Only 20 bucks.
20 bucks?
And I said, well, what is it gonna do? Like, change my perspective on life? He said, not quite. It's gonna rewind time.
That looks like a crumpled piece of paper, dude.
That's what I said, but he said, just give it a shot, kid. Dude, I have an idea of how it might work.
How, dude? I mean,
Well, just bear with me for a second.
all right.
Oh, you little... Hey, Randy.
Oh,
so,
what's up,
just
bro?
a minute ago, I used this to slap you in the face. And
What?
get away with it. Yeah, watch. You little... Whoa. No.
What the?
Randy,
Ugh.
listen, dude, I don't think we can be friends anymore.
What are you talking about?
Well, you punched me in the face twice.
What?
Yeah, after I slapped you, remember? It was like this.
Why, you little...
Look, dude, we definitely cannot be friends anymore, alright?
Why?
You tried to punch me in the face again.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, remember I slapped you like this.
Why, you little...
See, Randy?
can't be friends anymore.
Hello, Marysville. If you're just tuning in, we have Kimberly Crombie. She's an alumni from MPHS and is now currently a communications consultant at EVCC. So right now we're going to play a trivia game. It's going to be multiple choice, A, B, C, or D, or ABC, and it's going to be mainly about EVCC. So let's start. Okay, do we have the timer ready? We have the timer ready? Okay, I got you. So let's start with the first one. When was EVCC established? Okay, A, 1941, B, 1950, or C, 1964? You guys can ask if you want me to reword or re-say the question.
I'm good.
You guys good?
Yep.
Show your answers. And it is A, 1941. So 1 point for Miss Kimberly Crombie. Or Mrs., I'm sorry. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yep.
So, 2, what is the EVCC mascot? A, the Spartans, B, the Vikings, or C, the Trojans?
Wait.
In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, both of you got it right. Yes, it is the Trojans. Not the Vikings, not the Spartans, but the Trojans. Okay, our third question. What was the original main campus building for EVCC? A, the converted elementary school, B, the converted library, or C, the converted church? Should I re-say that? You guys ready
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
re-say that? Okay, what is the original main campus building for EVCC? A, the converted elementary school, B, a converted library, or C, a converted church?
Hard.
No cheating, guys. No cheating. No cheating. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
And
Yes.
3, 2, 1, show your answers. And both of you are correct, but Miss Kimberly Crombie is in front by a point. Okay, so fourth question. So we have 2 more questions.
Okay.
How many points should we? Let's say. Okay. So when was the college's main campus removed to its present site? A, 1960, B, 1958, or C, 1941?
Can you say them again?
Yeah. So when was the college's main campus moved to its present site? A, 1960, B, 1958, or C, 1941? Just remember, guys, you have 1 out of 3 chance to actually get this right. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1, show your answers. And both of you got it correct. And unfairly, the last question is gonna be 5 points.
Okay.
5 points. Okay, so about how many students are enrolled at EVCC as of the past year? A, 20,000, B, 15,000, or C, 10,000? You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah, and 3, 2, 1, go. And both of you win, but Kimberly Crombie has a point ahead, and so she's the winner.
Yay!
And we'll be back to a segment about volcanic beats, or volcano beats. So we'll see you guys in a bit.
Throwing out these beats, you guys be farming them beats from me. Yeah, that was good, that was good. Let's try something else now. Yo, I'm making all this meat, and I ain't even Greek for this girl I'm trying to meet. Yo, man, you got beef? Oh my gosh, that was genius. I could do this. I could be a rapper, call myself Volcano Beats because I'm explosive. Let's lay down some licks. Oh my gosh, I finally got it. I gotta go record this.
It's my life, my definition. Hey yo, I move with a different vision. Here's my petition. Wisdom, wealth, virtue. That's the main mission.
Volcano Beats SoundCloud is up and ready for people to hear.
Wishing, waiting for them handouts. But trying to take a man's food, what's your plan about? No, don't build your house on sandy foundations. I felt them temptations, but I found patience. Avoided altercations. Kept my
Hey buddy, hey, listen, hey man, hey, you want a mixtape, dude? Hey man, hey, take this, man, alright? Hey, it's a mixtape, man, enjoy that, alright? You listen to that, okay? You listen to that.
It's a mixtape?
Yeah, man, you'll enjoy it.
That's mixed?
Yeah.
I got you, bro.
Girl, you trying to take a mixtape? Hey, come on, take the mixtape. Take it! Mr. Plant, you want a mixtape? No, you don't? No one wants these things. Come on, y'all. Hey, old man. Hey, take a mixtape, man.
What am I supposed to do with this?
You use these to cook your food, man. My beats are on fire, yo.
I don't have any food. I can't eat this.
Hey, yo, old man. My beats are so mystical, they fill up your soul, dude. That's all you need.
Yeah, okay.
You know what? I'm just gonna be a lawyer. Man, this lawyer stuff is ridiculous. How much studying do I have to do?
Hey, aren't you volcanic beats?
Yeah, man. But that's the old me. I'm studying to be a lawyer now.
Oh, forget that, man. I'm in the College of Rap, and I showed my professor your rap.
What do you think?
Rapping skills, and he said, "Man, this is just a little more vocabulary in that, and it's perfect. So how about it? You know, just."
Well, alright, man. Let's go.
Okay. It's in that room. Again, we have Kimberly Crombie. She was an alumni in MPHS and now is a communications consultant at EVCC.
So
let's
I
start it off.
noticed that you knew a lot about EVCC. So can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Sure. I think that it's definitely like a pillar in the community. I think everyone knows what it is, and I think that everyone is probably related to someone or knows someone who has attended or is attending. I know that as an employee, I learned a lot more about the campus than I ever learned as a student, especially because I didn't even know there was, a president and vice presidents at the college, and I had no idea. And being that my boss is one of the vice presidents, it was really eye-opening to learn that there's a whole other side to going to school. Mm-hmm. There's people that really care about education of others, and there are people that really care about community outreach and involvement. I had no idea how involved in the community the college was, and so there are a lot of different ways that people on the campus contribute to the community. Some people serve on local boards of directors. Other people literally go out and volunteer, and they might pick up trash, to help out on a weekend, or they might be involved with some kind of community event like a theater event or something like that. There are so many local business contacts that the college has made, and also those abroad. We have a huge international program. We have students that are coming to the school so quickly that we are expanding every year from other countries, from anywhere that you can pretty much think of. I'm not sure exactly how many countries we have represented, but there are several. And aside from the international education department, there are just so many other ways and avenues that students can explore and figure out what career path is right for them without being completely committed one way or another. If they're still figuring things out, there are really great helpers in the Counseling, Career, and Advising Center that they can tell you, okay, yeah, you can take these classes, but then when you get to this point, we need to decide what we're doing. And that's a huge help. I had no idea that that was even a part of the campus until I became an employee.
So has a lot changed since when you studied there and now that you're working?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I was a student there over a decade ago as a Running Start student, and then I did go for about 6 months to a year after high school, and the campus itself, physically, it looks completely different. There are new buildings, there's fewer parking spots, which seems to always be an issue, but the grounds are just gorgeous. They're beautiful, and actually we had a conference at the college last summer, and I got to meet Cisco Morris, who of course has a bunch of gardening TV shows and radio shows, and he came in and he told me he thought that that campus was one of the most beautiful campuses in the world. So that's really nice. Yeah. Huge compliment. I mean, he might say that to a lot of people, but it still felt really nice. At least, someone that's an expert in the field thought that it looked great.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. So you were talking about how you were actually a student there. Was there like a huge difference between like present and from the past, or is it just the same?
It just struck me that I should probably go back and take some classes, because I think there is a difference. I think that the staff and the faculty have always really cared about the students. I don't think that that's ever changed. I think that how I look at it has. So I would say that a student going there today would probably have the benefits of more classes, because of course the college has grown since I was a student there, and they also probably have the benefit of a variety of classes in the field that they want to study that maybe weren't available when I was a student. But I don't think that the standpoint of the staff or the faculty has changed. I think that they've always really cared about the students.
I see.
So, hold on. What did you go to college for? So when you attended EVCC, what did you go for? What degree?
Well, I actually just went to transfer, and there was a brief moment in my life where I thought I wanted to do residential design, and so I went to the Art Institute after I transferred from EVCC with just general courses, and about 6 months later I realized that it just wasn't for me. I'm very creative and artsy, but I needed a more structured environment to learn in, and so I went back to EVCC and worked with a counselor to transfer again to the University of Washington, Bothell, which is actually where I graduated from.
Okay.
And so my degree is a Bachelor's of Arts in Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences, and my major was Society, Ethics, and Human Behavior. There was a point that I declared a double major with Science, Technology, and the Environment, but I eventually had to give that up because I was working full-time and going to school full-time at the U, and it was a pretty crazy schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. So, out of all those classes, like, what were your favorites?
Oh, I definitely liked my human rights core class. It taught me so much about the world that I didn't know.
Oh,
And of course, I was going to school in my early 20s, and there was so much I didn't know, but this really opened my eyes to a lot of issues that I had no idea about. I also really liked my math classes. I loved calculus and linear algebra. I went back and took a ton of math actually as electives because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with my degree, so I wanted to have some kind of STEM background to fall back on if I needed to, and it was great. I loved it.
Okay.
So we've got a segment about two people fighting over a chair. Let's watch that. I don't know. Oh God. I was like, how do I introduce?
Your name on. It is right here. I see no name there. How dare you dishonor my coffee? We must battle now. I'm prepared. Let us begin. Let's go.
Is it cool if I see you?
Yeah, go ahead. We finished battle.
Hello, Marysville. If you're just tuning in, we have Kimberly Crombie. She was a MPHS alumni and is now a communications consultant at EVCC. And we have a couple more questions because we're actually running out of time. And so, for people that are actually going to EVCC, what do you think, or what should they expect when
They should
going there?
expect to be challenged. They should expect to have a really awesome experience going to school there. Definitely, like I mentioned, there are staff and faculty that just care so much about their education and want them to succeed. And I think that they should expect different than high school if they're high school graduates moving into college. It is a totally different experience, but it's great. It's great.
Okay. And so, do you have any like final responses or any other things you want to say for Marysville or people that are going to EVCC?
Yeah, don't stop moving. just keep going. Just, don't give up. And if you feel like you've hit a bump in the road or a place where you don't know where to go from, ask someone. Don't be afraid to ask someone for help. It's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. And I think that anyone that, even if they're not going to school or not going to college, if you just have a will to succeed, you're going to do it one way or another. It might not be how you think it's going to be, but you will succeed.
I see. So thank you, Kimberly. I am Maurice. This is Misbah. And thank you for tuning in to Charter Chat.